Okay. So this is the last class in our four-part series on the 16 guidelines. And today we're going to be talking about loyalty. So the other three topics that we've been discussing are respect, forgiveness, and gratitude. And as we talk about loyalty today, I think you'll see how all of those really uh, underlie this topic of loyalty in a very beautiful way. So the overall um, subject was how we relate. So we're talking about relationships, building stronger relationships, both with ourselves as well as with others. And so in order to set our motivation for engaging in our session together today, um, we can start by just clearing our minds a little bit. So just sit comfortably with your back straight, your hands resting comfortably in your lap or on your knees. Allowing your chest to expand, keeping your shoulders back. Allowing the breath to flow very smoothly and naturally. Giving rise to a sense of comfort and ease. And so when we think about why we're here today, why we're taking the time out of our busy schedules to have a little me time, to get to know ourselves a little bit better. And we can think with this motivation that Lama Zopa Rinpoche shared with us. He said, talking about our precious human rebirth, how fortunate we are to be here as human beings together today and now. He said, with the entire Buddha Dharma at our fingertips and a pure guide to show us the way, we have the perfect conditions to go beyond this limited existence and eliminate all the obscurations from our minds, for developing the selfless wish to help all beings. And this is possible. We can do this. The road is there ahead of us. Taking refuge, developing renunciation, cultivating compassion and bodhicitta, and realizing the nature of reality. It's all so clearly laid out in the teachings. We know exactly what to do. The instructions are there. So all it takes from us, from our side, is the determination to take that road. So we have, that choice. It's our choice, our responsibility as to whether or not we seek to follow that path, to escape the sufferings of samsara, birth, old age, and death, right? That cycle. And so Lama Zopa Rinpoche continues, if extracting the essence from our perfect human rebirth means practicing Dharma, then striving to attain bodhicitta and enlightenment is the heart of the essence. This is something we should do all day and all night. There isn't 1 second to waste. And with bodhicitta, then every second becomes infinitely valuable. When we light a stick of incense with a bodhicitta motivation, we're fulfilling our incredible potential. Because at the moment that we're doing this, we're doing what we need to attain enlightenment. As that incense burns, we're fulfilling our potential. And as it finishes, we're fulfilling our potential. Every action we do with the bodhicitta motivation helps us fulfill then our ultimate potential of attaining enlightenment. If it were form, the merit we create by the charity of giving even a crumb of food to a little ant with that bodhicitta motivation would encompass the whole of space. And we can do this because we have this perfect human rebirth. Okay, so that's the morning pep talk. So today we're talking about, like I said, we're talking about loyalty. And so just as our little icebreaker, we have a small group today, just a little free association. When you first heard the topic, it was going to be loyalty. When you hear the word loyalty, what's the first thing that just pops into your mind? Just for fun. You think loyalty, you think
Attachment.
attachment. Okay. I hadn't thought of it that way. Okay. Anybody else?
Like a deep caring of someone. If you're loyal to someone,
Okay.
care about them deeply, right?
Okay.
Hopefully,
Deep caring.
I guess.
Okay. Anything else?
I thought attachment too.
Okay. I thought of the mafia. My negative mind, I'm like, loyalty, who's loyal these days? Yeah, like customer loyalty, brand loyalty. I was like, oh, maybe the mafia.
Thought of a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, just, yes, you associate loyalty with the top of my head.
Yeah. And there have been so many amazing examples on Instagram. Sorry, but these incredible examples of like dogs and cats, where a threat is coming, like there was a bear coming up to a porch with a baby on the porch, and the dog would run over and scare away the bear, Or it's the same thing with a little cat. The cat was coming, and there was like this big bear or something coming, and the dog was like woof woof woof, and the bear was just coming, right, approaching anyway. And then this little cat came from out of nowhere and was like, and the bear ran away when there's so many examples. I don't think they were fake. I think it's true. Or like there's this little baby, and then you can see I spend too much time on Instagram, but there's this little baby, and there's this big TV monitor, like something huge like this, right? And then the dog was right next to it, the German Shepherd was right next to the baby, and then the TV screen fell down, and the dog immediately jumped up and protected the baby, and so the screen hit, him instead of the baby. Right. So there's that sense of, immediacy of not thinking of spontaneity, right? It's like a natural boom. I'm gonna save you. I'm there for you. And so, as we start to think about, loyalty in a deeper sense, though, I think there is, to some extent, it's natural to kind of assume that if you're loyal to somebody, that you'll get something in return, right? So just, so the opposite of loyalty would be like betrayal, right? I trust you, and yet, you know, sometimes my trust is not returned in the way that I would expect. And so when we look at the Losang, the mind training teachings, there's actually a beautiful verse that speaks exactly to this topic. And so I was going to try to share that with you on my little screen. I've got it here somewhere. Hang on one second. I got the exact verse. So for those of you who are familiar with the 8 verses of mind training, so this is a very well-known text for helping us meditate on the nature of the mind. And Gyume Khyentse Rinpoche Losang Jampa, he gave a beautiful teaching on this very recently. So if you go to the Dona Kumbin Lane YouTube channel, you can see 8 verses of mind training. It's one of the topics that he spoke about just maybe 2 months ago. So the second to last verse is verse 6. It says, when someone whom I have benefited or in whom I have placed great trust and hope harms me or treats me in hurtful ways without reason, may I see that person as my precious teacher. Right? So, when you trust somebody, when you put your hope in them, when you feel that you have that bond, right, then that, in a sense, is kind of the essence, I think, of loyalty, right? You've got your faith, your hope, your trust in somebody. And so when instead, they turn around and stab you in the back, so to speak, then instead of getting angry, responding with a sense of, being hurt and wanting to, maybe take revenge, instead of all of that, then the Buddha taught us, the teachings tell us that we should instead look at that person that's giving us an opportunity to practice, patience and humility and the rest. So I think we should, keep that in the back of our minds, because that's what underlies a sense of of loyalty. Okay. So put this one. All right. So let's just keep going to talk a little bit about loyalty in terms of some of the other aspects that are included in it, so that when we continue with our discussion, that we are all talking about the same thing, right? So just to summarize what I've said so far, then I said that it's a feeling or a belief that one can have faith in or rely on somebody or something. It could be a thing too, actually. So what are some of the other ideas that you think about, or even some synonyms, just to keep the conversation going here for loyalty? I thought this was a hard topic, actually, because when I first thought about it, I was like, loyalty? I don't know, for me, that word just seems kind of old-fashioned. But
I was gonna say, for me, the first thing that came up with loyalty was like knights and kings and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And I almost think inherent in the idea of loyalty is the idea that there's gonna be a challenge to it.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's a difficult situation, right? There's something that's an adverse situation, and then, like, where are my friends? Where are the troops?
If there isn't some temptation to break it, then there isn't a show of loyalty.
Yeah, yeah, it's just kind of tacit, right? Like it's there, but yeah, you wouldn't necessarily know it or test it. Maybe it's like a test, right? Going back to the mafia.
There's blind loyalty too.
What? Very
Like
good.
political.
Yeah.
I'm into a party. I'm just gonna vote that way. I mean,
Right.
so yeah, there's
Right.
ignorance.
Yeah.
I fight with somebody this week.
But I think it's an interesting point that you're bringing up, because to what extent are you just almost loyal to a fault, right? Like you're defending somebody who you know is harming others, but just out of loyalty, right?
Where's that fit into, where's the Buddhist perspective on loyalty? Where's that?
Well,
Where does it?
yeah. And I think that if you're be out of blind loyalty, if you're defending, somebody who is causing great harm, then that's non-virtuous, right? That there is a boundary, right? So like if you're, let's say he was a king, and the king, you as a citizen, you're respecting, I could get into a lot of trouble for this. Let's say it's somebody else, let's say it's a teacher, right? And out of blind loyalty, you are serving the teacher, but you find out that the teacher was abusing, children or abusing somebody, right? And then in order to stop the person from harming others, right? If that's your motivation, then I think it's appropriate not to continue to support them.
I was been the words that were coming out to me were like long term, infinite, forever. Like
Oh, okay. So loyalty has a sense of time associated with it, like
yeah, like you see that in sports a lot. You see that with partnerships, friends, family.
yeah. Yeah, like you're in it for the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. That's really good too. Were you gonna say something? I saw like maybe a hand. No hand. Which
Loyalty in this that she was mentioning, like be loyal to a political party that is
Joyce is
causing.
talking about.
That's kind of a blind face to ism.
Well,
A
it
blind
can't be.
face. Is it? I'm asking you.
I think in some cases it might be, like vote the way the party says to vote, right? Just fall in line and check the box. Well, I mean, I do that too sometimes when I vote. It's like I don't know anything about the candidates. I just go and vote along the party, right? Like, oh, which is bad, right? That's definitely not bad. That's just voting out of ignorance. You should really take the time to investigate and explore the person that you're asking to represent you. Yeah, for sure.
How about beliefs?
Beliefs. Yeah. Yeah. So loyalty, it includes an affirmation, right, of what somebody else believes in. And you're saying, okay, I'm loyal to this person or party because I accept, their beliefs. Yeah. Yep. It could also include, well, like we've been talking about, that sense of allegiance or, loyalty to a country as a whole, right? So,
I was thinking also like the other spectrum of it is like just being loyal to your own feelings in your own heart, which also can shift the external circumstances.
right.
Saying
That's
because, you know,
beautiful. Yeah.
just because your heart is not in it, you won't vote for that candidate, you vote for this one because your heart's telling you something different.
Right. So there's maybe a sense of being true or authenticity, being true to
Yes.
what you value and not allowing yourself to be blown around by external voices. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Yeah, and it's so important, right? I mean, that gives you a sense of being honest, of being, yeah, genuine, I guess is what it is, right? Yeah, standing up for what you believe in. Yeah, that's really good. So, some of the other aspects of loyalty that we've been touching on, I think indirectly or directly, is this idea of like having a friend or having a relationship with your family that has that you can rely on because they've consistently supported you, right? They're always there for you. There's that sense of, no matter what happens, if when we run into challenges, I can count on somebody to help me through a difficult time. So it gives you a sense of security, right? If you have people who are loyal to you, let's just say people who you trust, who you believe in. There's that sense of security, and it allows us to move forward. Like if you want to try something new, right? Maybe it's like even coming to a Dharma center. Maybe you're new to this idea of Buddhism, right? And you want to explore it. You want to learn more about yourself. You want to learn about what the Buddhist path offers. Then it's nice to have that sense of friendship and community, right? To have people that you can turn to if you have questions. Sort of to hold your hand, so to speak, right? That's what the Sangha is, right? It's a group of like-minded individuals who are supporting each other on the path. So that gives you the foundation that allows you to explore new concepts, new ideas, new ideas that can be comforting and make you feel good. And then others that are a little more challenging, right? Like we were talking about the 8 verses of mind training. This idea of if somebody does betray your loyalty, your trust, right? Then that can be uncomfortable. You're like, wow, but having the strength and the courage to stop, and not get angry, to say, well, I'm not going to, do what I would normally do just to get angry. Instead, I'm going to stop and try a new way, and to have that freedom to make those choices in a safe context, I think is extremely important, right? So we're talking about trust, we're talking about community, we're talking about partnership. All of those ideas fall under the big umbrella of loyalty, right? So in a sense, loyalty is like, this is a bad analogy, but it's kind of like the glue. It's something that kind of keeps relationships together, right? It's something that binds us together. And it's actually really, really, really important when you think about it. It's just like, when we think about the 16 guidelines, and I can do this. If I go back to for you guys online, for everybody, where's the white space, whiteboard note? What am I looking for? Jeez, this is sad. Where's the share? The share button disappeared. Ah, the big green button. Oh, that one. God. Here we go. Yes, right? So no, don't do that. Loyalty, brand loyalty, right? I'm loyal to Zoom. I trust Zoom very, very much. Brand loyalty. Does Zoom have a competitor? Not really, right?
Yeah, team.
Oh, Team. Oh, yeah, Microsoft Teams. Forgot about that. Okay. So loyalty, it includes, it's the tip of the iceberg of everything. You know how we talked about these are interrelated. It's not like, it's linear and stovepipe the way we're showing these concepts to be. But I think you can tell from what we've been talking about that all of these other ideas and more, right? So not limiting the world to just these 16 ideas, but for the purposes of discussion, right? Anyway, it's just a nice way to see how all of these, tie together, particularly loyalty is so important as we move towards these more kind of action-oriented, maybe ideas under how we find meaning, right? Aspiration, principle, service, and courage, particularly with service. Loyalty is something that we all do together in partnership. Right? So, on the other hand, as we were kind of talking about, it's important to use loyalty as a way to, as I said, creating the safe space, allowing us to grow together, as part of our friendships or as community, right? So it's like giving people who are around us, people who we care about, giving them the space, giving them the opportunity to make choices, right? To make good choices. Instead of following our natural tendency, which is maybe to, you see somebody struggling, you see somebody doing something maybe not exactly the way you think it should be done, like this happens in families, we're in work environments, right? Happens all the time. like maybe you're a manager and you want somebody to do something one way. Right. And so, we have a natural tendency to maybe just to jump in and try to fix the problem, like, oh, we're in a rush. I'll just do it myself. I'll tell, correct the guy later on or something. But instead, when we have this sense of loyalty and a sense of a long-term vision, right? A long-term vision that we as a community or as a company, whatever it is, that we've got the long-term vision. It's not just the immediate, 5-cent solution, quick fix now, but we want to grow together. Then from that perspective, the eagle eye perspective on where we're going, then you want to, stop and say, whoa, can I give this person, is this a teaching moment, right? Is this an opportunity to just stop and say, why don't you fix it? I'll give you a pointer, maybe I'll point out that maybe this is not quite, the way that we do things here or whatever, right? But allow the person to make that choice themselves, right? You go figure out a better way to handle the situation instead of just, pushing the guy out of the way and saying, here, I'll do it, right? So, um, so I think what we need to be aware of, though, and we've touched upon this a little bit already, is how loyalty taken the wrong way, can lead to creating artificial barriers between each other, like the kings and the political parties. And so we need to just be aware of that sort of negative bias, that tendency that we have within ourselves. It's all part of, I think, that fight or flight, survival kind of instinct that we have, right? To have sort of an in-group, out-group, mentality, to tend to want to exclude others, particularly when things get rough, right? When things are not going the way we want to. Like with COVID even, right? Everybody was just like, go, put up the walls, keep everybody out, even if it's your family, right? It was just like, nope. And so we have to be careful that we don't fall into that trap, and maybe wave the flag of loyalty in a way that is counterproductive, right? That actually just harms us and harms others, right? And so our tendency is to follow negative ways of behavior sometimes, right? If we're not careful, right, we can fall into just what I would call, or what is known, but as like superstitious behaviors, behaviors that you just kind of do. So what I'm trying to get at is that, that our experience of reality is, our subjective experience is forms, our reality, right? So whatever I'm experiencing now, the sights, the sounds, the feel, all of these sensations, right? So let's say that that's the individual's subjective experience. It's the totality of all of the information and the sensations that you're feeling, right? All the thoughts that you're thinking, all of that, in a very gross summary way of presenting this idea, like, let's say all of that is your subjective experience, and that subjective experience is your reality, right? So what you're seeing, you're sitting over there, you're looking over here, you get to see all the Buddhas. I get to see all of you. I'm just kidding. But like, so that shift in perspective, everybody's got their own, background, personal history, lived experience, et cetera, right? So our subjective experiences are all going to be different. And so, fueled by that, then we tend to have, modes of being, but also that translates into ways of acting, right? Ways of behaving. And so we tend to have these, like preconceptions, we have these funny beliefs. All of this can um, um, uh, prompt us to behave, in ways that just maybe logically they don't make a whole lot of sense. So that's what I'm getting at when I say superstitious behavior. So, you might think that we might have heard that, oh, the number 13 is there's something wrong with 13. I don't even know where that came from. I was born on the 13th, so I don't believe in that. But other people, like, some of these older buildings, like in New York City, right? You get in the elevator. Do you ever notice?
Yeah.
There's no number 13. Well, like, that's a very interesting superstition, right? And it's, or you might think, maybe you don't believe in that, but you might think that doing something, well, like the Tibetans, I probably shouldn't say it, but like, so they're cultural beliefs, right? They're like cutting your hair on a certain day is not good. I thought of that because I'm looking at Joyce, right? You got a good example.
Yeah, I think, because I don't have the superstition, but I was surprised to learn that black cats, right, are harder to adopt out.
Yes.
Because people have superstitions about
Black
black
cats, yeah, yeah. Right, they used to burn them, I think. I mean, it was really bad. And so actually that's a good segue. So this idea of stereotyping, right, of these, beliefs that are just founded in, groupthink, right, that we buy into. So stereotyping, leads to racism, leads to discriminating against, individuals based on their color and their, et cetera. Okay, so for loyalty, we need to be really careful not to end up, going the wrong direction. And so we need to be very aware of how it can lead to tribalism, how it can lead to, dead end roads like that way of thinking. Instead of, using loyalty, trust, faith, belief in a positive sense, right? Having trust in each other's good nature, trust in the road to enlightenment, etc. Trust in the sense of creating universal ethics and universal compassion. So we're trying to build inclusive communities with each other, not gated communities, right? Okay. So what are some of the things that we can do to cultivate loyalty or faith in others, whatever term you want to use, in our daily lives? What are some of the things that you do that we could all do?
I think some of it is the practicing gratitude, right? Like remembering
Right?
all the ways that other people or organizations or whatever have helped.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gratitude. Yeah. So, yeah, keeping that actively in mind. Yeah.
Sometimes I try to put myself as best I can in the headspace of like what I think the other person might be going through.
Yes. Right. So there's that idea of actively listening, maybe trying to see where they're coming from. Yeah.
I think that just personally, I think I have a tendency to see my own perspective. I'm working with a lot of different contractors right now, and and it's like, well, I would like this to go here, and why can't it go there? But then, and I don't want to make their lives a misery, so I'm kind of like, okay, well, what is it like to be an electrician? like like that, like really try to put myself in, like I don't want to be the scratchy girl, so I'm just trying to put myself in somebody else's shoes in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Really understand their position. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I think maybe just being aware of your family and friends and what their needs might be. Like if someone's feeling sick, call to check up on them, to just know that you're there for them
Exactly.
and whatever the situation may be.
Right, right. So that you're reliable, right? You're dependable, like I'm here for you. Yeah. Yeah, just even touching base once in a while. Yeah. Even if you're busy, right? If you just, I mean, now you just send somebody a text with an emoji, just the bare minimum, right? You know, like I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. But it really, it makes a difference, you know, because especially with people being so isolated these days, right? Everybody wants to know that, you know, they've got some headspace in somebody else's life, right? It's important. Yeah. Okay. Anything else for practicing how to cultivate that sense of trust and belief in our relationships? It really helps us deepen the relationship. You know, like, I mean, this is what we're talking about almost as just like the baseline. Like, if you don't have that baseline sense of trust, then the minute you hit a speed bump, you know, it's hard.
Is trust synonymous with loyalty?
I was kind of using it as either synonymous or as one aspect of the broader concept of loyalty. Right.
I just like very limiting because I just am realizing I'm very negative at like connotations with loyalty. Like when you said glue, I was like, oh, glue trap. Like so it's I'm not in here.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, hi, John.
You know, I mean, I think everything on here, it seems like it's really easy for me to digest, except for loyalty. You know, everything else is like, okay, yeah, yeah. You can like kind of, you don't have anything, any other side to it, you know, like humility. You like you're not gonna be like have too much humility, you know, like but loyalty's got that's a slippery slope, you know, that's like
Yeah,
for certain contexts, loyalty is really, really bad.
right,
So
right.
yeah, I mean like at work. You know, I don't know. Sometimes that's a really dicey situation when you got a bad manager and he's
Right?
demanding loyalty. Like, yeah,
Doing something that just makes no sense. Right?
yeah,
They're
it's-
like,
right. So like everything else there, like, but gratitude, okay, yeah, no, like anything, any amount of gratitude is a good thing. But loyalty, that's like that just like I can't even wrap my head around like what's good and what's bad.
I thought
But
it
I
was
mean, I get the idea though that there's sort of like a certain amount of like, you know, community that you want to create and have that. But then like yeah, it becomes like us and them. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
a hard
interesting.
one.
Can I just say, Annie
Yeah,
Love?
please.
I think that's so interesting that he brought that up because I've been sort of thinking, yes, this is all very nice and well-meaning. However, culturally right now, things are so divisive, and so the level of trust is lessened, and we don't have sort of a universal, you know, love thy neighbor kind of thing going on here right now. Um, you know, and if something breaks, it's like, ugh, it's just a corporate thing. There's no way to fix it. You know, you feel so helpless against the machine.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all very, like I said, it just seems very well meaning, but the reality of the context right now for, I think for most Americans is very difficult in the face of this.
A lot of fear. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just kind of like a little sort of reality check on the other side of this.
Yeah. No,
So you know, it just makes me feel like we need the deepest tools possible from you to, as an antidote.
right, 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 right. And so, and I think that's why we're looking at each of these guidelines as they feed into the sense of loyalty, so we can make it more of maybe more of a priority or something that we intentionally cultivate, that we intentionally are aware of, right? Looking out for those tendencies to act, you know, just in superstitious ways without stopping and identifying what's going on. Okay, so we're gonna do our breakout groups, so you can explore this. Oh, yeah, Flavia.
All these issues about loyalty that you guys been talking about, if you are loyal to your principles,
Yeah,
none
yeah.
of this is an issue. You just be loyal to your principles. And that applies politically, your relationship with your boss in your workspace, all of this. You just be loyal to yourself.
Right.
Everybody has principles. We all have principles. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right?
Hopefully, yes. Do we have principles? Yeah, okay, so under number 4, principles, number 14, principles. Yes, but no, I think we've been talking about that, being true to your inner values, your core values, making sure that no matter what's going on, that you're able to go back to touch base with those and to make those hard choices, you know, in your relationships. Like maybe you are in a situation where you're being asked to do something immoral, right, non-virtuous in a work environment or a family environment. But if you have that strong inner strength, then that helps you, you know, decide, make a good choice, right? Can you walk away? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the breakout groups, if I can get this going. So you guys, just one second, you guys online, you will be very happy to know that we now have breakout groups set up, because I know we lost a lot of the online people probably because we didn't have breakout groups before. So we're going to try to do this. Is everybody, I've got 4 people. Are you all there? Before I put you in breakout groups, I just want to make sure that, because it's great, I will have 2 breakout groups of 2. So Laura, Eric, Louise is obviously there.
I just came on, so I don't know what's being discussed.
I'll fill Laura in.
Okay.
No problem.
Eric, are you there? See, I'm putting everybody on the spot. Okay, you guys, you're going to be in one group of 4. So my probability of getting, because I'm not very good at breakout groups. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so hang on one second. Here, I'm going to give you the questions. Woohoo. So you have great trust in me that I know how to do this. There's questions. To whom do you feel loyal and why? You don't have to do these. If you want to talk about something else, that's fine too. What does loyalty feel like towards individuals, ideas, or causes? And how does this loyalty impact your life and your sense of fulfillment? Okay, so those are the questions. In the room, so we're gonna, let's see, I'm gonna try to break you guys up so you're not all sitting next to people. This is like high school.
Sorry, Anila,
Yeah.
do we just unmute and we're automatically in a group like with Laura and Eric, or how does it work?
Okay, hang on one second. I am going to put you guys, the online people.
Rhythmic Freedom can't participate. I don't know, maybe he's driving or something.
Oh, okay. One breakout room, assign automatically. Okay, you all are in one room. Create.
Do we unmute to talk to each other? Or
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
talking to you?
No, you'll all be in one room so you can all talk to each other. Okay, so I'm going to create it right now. Okay, and we're going to go for, let's just say, what time is it now? I'm so blind. 10:44, we'll go to 10:54, okay? 10:54. Okay. So I think you have to click join. Okay, hopefully that works. All right, so you guys,
Sorry, Anila.
are you in the group?
I came out to hear the rest of what you were saying, and now I'm out of the group and I don't see a little go back in the group thing.
Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Yeah, let's see if this works. Close all rooms, plan exit broadcast. Options. If I do join, then I think,
Well, maybe if I hit this leave button, I'll leave you and I'll go back in the group. Let me try that.
because the other person's not in it either. Give me 1 second. Okay, you guys are in one group? Okay, you two. Flavio and Sarah or Courtney? Okay, you're one group. John and Sarah. I see, I knew John, Sarah. Okay, and then we got Joyce and Jennifer. And then your name? Lynn and Ernesto? Wow. Oh my God. Okay, you guys start talking?
So groups of two,
Yes.
and so it is.
Stay.
Yeah. So you can move around. If it's too loud in here, you can, go somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, no, poor girl.
More like my dog.
Yeah, I never really. That's like kind of like.
Because I know.
Oh, yeah. So I.
Yeah. So I was like, right. How do you great. And you also it's not something.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Like you could.
Right.
At first, like, I really don't so
Stop. This is just. That whole.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and like the only, so like. I don't, I should have that.
And then, I mean, no one knows what teacher, but like, trying to live really long.
What did I do?
So I don't from how then, Well, I smelled it out there. Yeah.
It's like so crazy, because it's like.
It's so strong. Yeah.
Right.
So
They could be like,
not like so different.
loyal to the
Yeah, you know, like. And I don't know how old you see.
Right. Well, and
You guys,
to me, that I just, and still, it's something I don't know. Habits of dollars.
Yeah.
Not that that's all of these, that's like, something like 18, so that's, but you need to change.
I really seen before it was like,
I was, of course, we put on like my contract scheme to the national. Just like. I just saw it. So I ended up finding them. I started on here. It's 23. Yeah, like, it's just.
Yeah.
It's. People. So. Yeah, very eager. Out there.
Like this one, the same thing.
So it's just. Talked about. You know, and it's just like. So. But you know, one thing that just. Use your resident.
Yeah.
You know, for all of the. So the whole thing and this is all we're doing. Whatever that is, your house. Right. Then you go to the top. She's so sweet. I know, she's so much. You reach your point where.
Right. You know, like you should there, but I can't imagine that. Right? Right, that's what it's called, a safety net. If you don't shoot it, you know, it's-
That's just. So. To get you. So yeah.
Okay, you guys, you got about another minute to just wrap up your discussions, please.
And it's like. I was gonna ask this one. Everyone, every.
I got to even watch. I read about you because I
really should. That was so.
and he's very like
Today.
science. Overwhelming. What is the thing for me?
It's just like, yeah, poking holes. I'm just like, today.
You're gonna need this. Well, that's nice.
I'm like, well, you can't judge it.
Closed the breakout rooms and then I lost Laura and Louisa. All I did was click the button. Huh. I'm gonna switch to Microsoft Teams. No brand loyalty here. Go figure. Okay, well. I don't know what to say. Hmm. Yep, there they go. Okay.
I guess Zoom's okay now.
I guess so.
Well, we lost Eric.
I think he was driving or something. I think he was. Okay, so now we're ready for our guided meditation. So this meditation is a little bit different from the ones that we've done previously. This one's pretty intensive. I think you will enjoy it. So let me bring it up here. Okay, here we go. All right. So we're going to do this guided meditation. And it takes about 15-20 minutes. I want to go through it a little bit more slowly. That's a lot to think about. All right, so it sounded like you guys were having some pretty good discussions there, right? So all of that's going to carry forward into this meditation on loyalty. So again, sit comfortably in your meditation posture or whatever feels good for you. And we're going to be talking about, again, what does loyalty mean to you? How important is it? Right? Is loyalty something that we just feel, instinctively? Is there an inner sense of loyalty? Or is loyalty something that we should be thinking about more conceptually, more deeply? And then when we think of loyalty as part of our, lived experience, let's try to think of loyalty as something that, we feel, right? Well, let's try to identify how we feel this experience of loyalty. Where do we feel it, even within our bodies? And so in order to do this, then try to think of a particular time, a situation when somebody was particularly loyal to you, believed in you, had faith and trust in you, if you will. Think of a particular example from your own life, maybe you were feeling hurt or you were in a difficult situation and somebody was there for you. How did that feel? Maybe it's even the Dharma. Maybe you were in a very difficult low point in your life with nobody to turn to except your faith, except your trust in the Dharma. So what did this person say to you in that situation? Or what did that person do to support you? Did their support make a practical difference? Or was it more their emotional support that mattered the most? How did it feel to experience their loyalty to you? So let's now explore the unique way at which we can experience this idea of loyalty in our bodies. So again, just take a gentle breath, relax. Going back and kind of reliving or recreating that situation that we have been meditating on. Or think of a different, situation, whatever's easier for you, whatever's more comfortable. And then again, try to focus just on the experience of the loyalty itself. So not the details, of the situation, but just that feeling of loyalty, of trust, of faith, of being supported in a difficult situation by somebody or faith in the Dharma or whatever it might be. At the level of the feeling and the physical, tangible experience of loyalty. That's what we're trying to touch. And when you have a little sense of loyalty, that feeling, experience of loyalty and trust, try to strengthen it. Is it in a particular region of your body? Oh, is it in your heart? Is it in your wherever? Is it just all over? Do you feel that sense of, loyalty and trust? And gratitude and respect all rolled together. Where does that feel most strongly? It might be helpful to use a visual image to represent that feeling. Whether it's a little flower or a ball of light, whatever works best for you. Or not. But try to very gently and gradually expand that feeling, strengthen it. So it really pervades, your entire body. Does this feeling of loyalty and trust and belief, does it feel like something that's always been with you? Does it feel like, timeless? Like it's always been there? Does it feel like something that we can intentionally cultivate and grow? And just relax for a moment, thinking of the benefits of loyalty. Relaxing into that strength, that sense of confidence in being loyal to our inner compass, our inner moral compass. What serves as the basis for creating closer relationships with friends, family, with our communities. That's the foundation for universal ethics and compassion. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. That was extraordinary.
Oh, I didn't write it.
It doesn't matter. You delivered it.
But I think it's very beautiful, and it's something that, that same process, you can apply that same way of meditating, you can apply to anything, to any of the 16 guidelines, to any, meditation topic. It's very nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any thoughts that came up as a result of doing that meditation that you'd like to share?
I do. And what came up for me in the end was like loyalty is a community builder. It builds community and it can help us on our life path, like so that we don't make so many mistakes, so that we're true to what's going on inside, it can lead us where we need to go. That makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of
Be a
like having,
guide.
that inner sense of I think as we were talking about being authentic and having a moral compass, maybe.
Yeah.
And then following that as a guideline as things get difficult, when the choices that we're confronted with are so complex, but using that to always touching base and saying, am I being true to where I want to go? Right. Okay. So this is our last class in our series. And what I wanted to do is a little bit different. So I just came back. The Medicine Buddha tour is going around the country and it's in Queens right now. And today's the last day. So I was able to go Friday and Saturday and not today. But, there's something about being with a group of like 400 Tibetans, and 30, monks and like I was the only nun, but whatever. Sitting there in the back row, like trying to hold down the fort. No. But there's something so powerful, just so beautiful, even if, you're like me and you don't even understand all of Tibetan, whatever, right? It's just that energy is so beautiful, that the purity and the service that goes into, feeding all those people and offering tea. And, it's just so loving, that environment. And what I really want to share with you is just one of the traditional prayers that we usually do, because I think here we're all coming from different backgrounds, and familiarities with Buddhism, and so I don't think it really matters. I think that it's really important to do these prayers because, if nothing else, even if, if you're new to Buddhism and maybe you're just curious, like, hey, how do Buddhists pray? Like, what's the Buddhist prayer? And it's all about generating love. It's all about generating compassion. And we can't chant it, unfortunately. So we lose some of the power, the beauty of the chanting. But, we're just going to read this. So I hope you enjoy it. And there's so many more prayers. So when we have these opportunities, like we do the long life prayers for His Holiness and for Gyumei Khenchen Rinpoche, the first Saturday, of the month, etc. These are really beautiful opportunities, for transforming our mind, for accumulating virtue, and building community. It's just overall cool. So I'm going to do this. I know we don't do like a lot of traditional prayers in this center in particular, but yes, the big green share button. Sad. Very sad. But look, thanks to Tripala, see, it's so easy. You just push the button. Woo, there you go. Okay, here we go. Look at this. So I think we can do this in 15 minutes. So I want everybody you can see that, right? Is that like super huge? Okay, this is for the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra. And we all have to read this together. Okay? Because otherwise, it's not going to have the same impact on your mind if you're just sitting there passively reading it. Okay, so if you can't see it, move to so you can see it. Okay. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, as with the many atoms as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas, numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder, heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and 10 directions of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all of you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize paranirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions, and all you gone to freedom in the past, accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas, surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath a Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. And then following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas, and perfecting the practice of a bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms, and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe, may I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening, and be of worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of beings, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of a bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless, pristine wisdom and positive potential. On one atom, I shall see Buddha fields, numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure excellence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the various tendency of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma, of all Buddhas and 3 times gone to freedom, who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, and I will enter into all eons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future lions among humans. And with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands, present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift, magical emanation, the power to lead to the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms. the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice of all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times everywhere, in order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas. I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate, just as the skillful Samantabhadra, with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of Manjushri for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space, likewise limitless are living beings, thus limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration, longing for highest awakening, gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious positive potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha, infinite light. And even in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they will become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Getting quickly to the noble Bodhi tree and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice, in order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication, which is praised as greatest by all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainments of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, may I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful, superlative lotus in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefits for beings throughout the 10 directions with 1 billion emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the small virtue I have accumulated by offering this prayer, Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential by dedicating this prayer to Mantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of this scripture, dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may suffering realms be utterly emptied of all beings. So this is called the King of Prayers. If you're interested in getting a copy, it's freely available on the internet. So go look for King of Prayers and then type FPMT and then like PDF, and it'll pop up King of Prayers. And so this is one of the prayers that's traditionally done when somebody passes away. In addition to like the medicine Buddha puja. So I thought that we would dedicate the merit from reading this prayer for the benefit, in particular of Jane Goodall, who passed away recently. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful prayer. Really, really beautiful.
Thank you, Anila.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this.
Thank you so
Not like you're going anywhere, but
I'm here.
you got me here this morning.
Well, thank you. If you have any feedback for this course, like for the format or etc., please let me know. And just the final word is that, here at Durna Kumpaling, this center is your center, right? Is our center. Okay. And so what we're trying to do is keep it going and to make it a wonderful space, a safe space for us to come together and receive the teachings from the Geshe Dargay and Triphala and Venerable Triphala and all the visiting teachers, etc. But really think of this as as a precious jewel, in the middle of Reading, Connecticut, of all places. So this is your place. So we're always open to your feedback. Yeah, Joyce.
I just want to share with everybody that on Friday night, I came here after the concert and I went to the prayer flags at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. There was no moon. And I looked at the stars with a binocular and a loved one, and it was just a really nice moment. I was
Oh my
totally in the
gosh.
moment.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Isn't that adorable? So yes, we keep showing up here and it helps a lot of us. And we go out into the world and we're better, right?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
Thank you, Annie.
teachings.
Wow. It's that.
After-
Thanks for